here to interview Ranulph Fiennes.
Hi there, I'm Callum Bogan and we're here joined with Sir Ranulph Fiennes
and I'm Amy Urquhart.
We're going to have a quick interview with Ranulph.
During your expeditions from 1967 to 2009, what has been your biggest and most challenging expedition?
I think looking for a lost city in Arabia, a place called Irem-al-Adat or Ubar, which my late wife and I started looking for in 1968, and we didn't actually find it till 1992. We did 8 expeditions over those years with sort of Land Rovers and that sort of thing into this desert which is called the Rub al-Khali, which means the empty quarter, and it's the biggest sand desert in the world. And after 5 attempts, and each one had sponsors and permissions from the Sultan of Oman and all that, it takes a long time, I decided we'd never find it. It'd been lost for 2,000 years, but my wife, who spoke Arabic very well, was determined, so we went back. And when we found it on the 8th expedition, 26 years after we started looking for it, it was not by clever means. We did use NASA, cameras on the shuttle, but that didn't help. We found it by sheer good luck one day.
What has inspired you to do all the expeditions you've done over the years?
I suppose what inspired me probably was lack of A levels, because if I'd got them I would have stayed in the Scottish Army, because that's what I always wanted to do, like my dad and my uncle, who were killed in the First World War, the Second World War, in the Gordon Highlanders and the Scots Greys. And they didn't need A levels to become British officers. But by the time I got there, you couldn't go to Sandhurst College without A levels.
What expedition has been the most dangerous that you've had to face?
Dangerous ones. The most dangerous activities weren't against nature, like ice and sea and mountains, because that's not out to get you. It was in the army when we were fighting communist terrorists in Arabia. They are definitely out to get you and they're clever. That was more frightening than things.
How did it feel having to pull out of the Antarctica Challenge in 2013?
Well, from my point of view, I left my team behind and I removed myself because I knew that I was useless. I was only there to ski. The rest of them were there because they were, I say, the world's best mechanics. They were incredibly good mechanics, and when things went wrong, that's what they were there to do. But once I was in a position where I knew I couldn't ski at -80 because I had one hand had gone totally wrong for reasons I didn't then understand. I know now that it was because of diabetes, but I didn't know at the time. And so I left them to do it, and I had every reason to believe that they would do it until they'd got up to 10,000 feet onto the beginning of the plateau where it levels, and therefore you don't get crevasses. And so we were bringing out the champagne, and then they got into this huge, horrible area which even satellites had not detected, and which I would not have fallen into on my skis, because I'm light. They weigh 25 tons and they're towing 100 tons of fuel, so 9-foot bridges were collapsing under them. And I don't know if you're going to see tonight, but I've got a couple of pictures of one of their 25-ton caterpillars very nearly falling down 300 feet into one of these crevasses.
When you first start an expedition, do you ever think to yourself, why am I doing this? And what makes you continue rather than quitting?
You're saying, do I ever think, why am I doing this?
Yeah.
No, I've not thought that. Sometimes in the UK, with the family, you might think that sort of thing, but not on an expedition, no.
How does it feel to have raised over £14 million for different UK charities?
Yeah, at the moment it's 16.3 million, of which, yes, 14 million is for UK charities, that's correct. It means that you, being human, want to reach the figure of 20.
It's incredible
before popping it. Yeah.
Raised.
Out of all the awards you've received, what one means the most to you?
Of all the...
Awards.
Right. I think probably being admitted into the Highland Society of Scotland, even though in the regiment I'm one of the only 2% that aren't Scottish. So it's a great honour. I'm very appreciative of it.
What made you want to be the first person to cross the Antarctica continent on foot?
Because a Norwegian wanted to do it first.
You wanted to...
And then when we did do that before they did, we learned that there were 2 other people, apart from myself, who had crossed the Antarctic and the Arctic, but they hadn't climbed Everest, which is what we call the 3rd pole, you know, the highest mountain in both ice crossing. And there was a nice guy called Alain Hubert from Belgium who'd done it, and the Norwegian guy called Borgi Auslund. But because I get vertigo, I didn't really want to do it, but I did want to do it. I wanted to be first, but I didn't want to do it because I was frightened of it. And so I thought, well, if they don't try, there's no point in my trying. So I watched them very carefully for 15 years. And then I discovered from a black friend of mine who I was climbing with that the Norwegian had sneakily had a go. And he'd very nearly got to the top in 2004. So in 2005, I had to have a go and I failed. So I tried again in 2008 from the easy side, the other side. And again I failed. A Scottish friend of mine called Rob Milne, unfortunately, was killed. Well, he died, heart problem, at 28,000 feet, and so his body was still there. And when I got up on that 2nd year, his body had reappeared because there hadn't been much snow the previous summer. And then we got up to another place where my Sherpa's father's body reappeared, which didn't help his morale. And then we got up to the buttress, quite, well, 6 hours from the top. And at the buttress they were burying a really good Swiss climber who'd been to the top with no oxygen, which only a few people can do, and he died on the way down. And so I must have had a bad effect on me. So I tried again in 2009, not doing the things I'd done when I failed. And 2009 was dead easy, no problem at all. So I couldn't understand why I'd made such a mess of it the previous times.
I'd just like to say thank you very much for having and letting us.
Not at all, not at all.
You. And it's been a pleasure to meet you.
And you too.
Thank you so much.
And you're obviously getting expert at it. Or should I say you already are? I don't know.
Thank you very much.
No, not at all.